It's no secret that in the world of crypto, narratives rule the day, and the best performers that typically make you the most money land inside of one of the same market sectors or a narrative. For example, in the bull market of 2017 to 2018, the best performers were simply the earliest to the market. If you invested in Dash on its breakout, you would have seen a 19,000% gain. If you'd invested in XRP on its breakout, you would have seen a 22,500% gain. And if you invested into Neo on its breakout, you would have netted a whopping 42,000%. In other words, you could turn a measly $1,000 into $421,000. Then in the bull market of 2020 to 2021, the narrative around layer 1 protocols really started picking up steam. An L1 is basically the base architecture of a blockchain. And according to this article, layer 1 blockchains work as base layers. They allow companies, developers, and builders to create apps and resources, all while giving access to the native perks related to scalability, security, and decentralization. Think Amazon. Amazon provides virtually everything you and I would need to sell our own products through their infrastructure. Investors wanted the next Ethereum killer in their portfolio early, so they started investing in the next Amazon of crypto. Some of the best performers were projects like Solana, which came in at 5,300%, Phantom, which gained 7,500%, and Elrond, which put in a whopping 15,000%. So what are the major narratives this market cycle, and is it possible to see those types of gains in 2024 and 2025? Watch this video to find out, and also stick around because in this video we'll be sharing a new and low market cap crypto that has the potential to 100x, which can turn $100 into $10,100 or $1,000 into $100,000. Hello and welcome to the Bull Runners YouTube channel. My name is Paul Light, and before we begin the video, as always, our content is purely for educational and entertainment purposes. Past results don't guarantee future profits. Common sense would suggest that it takes solid risk management, patience, and persistence to make money with crypto at all. We don't guarantee any results, and we aren't financial advisors. So do your own research. Crypto involves massive risk, and you can lose money. If you're not willing to take responsibility for your own investments, don't buy any cryptocurrencies we mention. We never recommend buying or selling anything. We only provide real-time updates and news and our own opinions. Please note that we hold positions in some of the cryptocurrencies that we talk about, but why wouldn't we, right? If we're talking about them and we like them. This does not, however, constitute recommendation for you to do the same. So results aren't typical. Don't be typical. Stay bullish and stay tuned for the video. So is it still possible to earn insane returns through 2024 and into 2025? Yes, and if you may have noticed in our previous examples that I just mentioned, as the market matures and as more players enter the space, liquidity typically gets spread thinner among many projects. So returns on the best performers are typically slightly less than previous cycles. So as you can see here, the best performers in terms of aggregate returns in 2018, the average would have been about 27,800%. Then in 2021, at that peak, the average great performer would have put in about a 9,266%. So if you look at the difference, that would have been about 1/3 of the previous cycle. So if we hop on over to the Bitcoin chart and go back to the 2020 to 2021 bull run, as you can see here, back on May 7th of 2020 into October 21st of 2020, for a period of 167 days, we saw just nothing but sideways ranging price action. Then finally into the end of the year, through the months of, basically October to January, the market put in a new all-time high, right? And then we saw a bit of a sell-off, but then again, we continued to move on to newer all-time highs through 2021 and the start of the year. Then again, in the bull market, or at least the start of this current bull market, starting in March, actually, because of those ETFs, right, and all the money inflows and excitement surrounding that. Then at the start of the new bull market in 2023, through the months of March all the way again to October for a period of about 215 days, we saw another lull. And that lasted through the entire summer until October. We started breaking out to new highs for the year. And we continued pushing those new highs all the way until March of this year, when we peaked out based on the ETF excitement. Now, what could potentially happen? Well, it's likely that as the summer continues dragging on and the price doesn't really go anywhere, we could range for a little while, potentially even take out these lows at 56 for a bit, and then start to range back up into healthier highs for a breakout to a new all-time high. So I thoroughly expect the end of this year, come September, October, November, to see new all-time highs. And if we don't, then we would know potentially a bull market's not going to happen this year. But that's highly unlikely when you look at Bitcoin history over the course of its entirety, over and over and over again. It lulls typically throughout the summer for a bit. Then at the end of the year, in its second to third year into a bull market cycle, it really starts to take off. So by 2025, I thoroughly expect new all-time highs, which means crypto is typically in a healthy spot. This is nothing out of the norm for crypto. So even if we range or take out some new lows, I think the crypto market's here to stay. Which would mean that if we have a peak in crypto in 2025, I would thoroughly expect us to have at least a third of our previous best performers' performance. In other words, our best performers, I can thoroughly expect to at least perform for a 3,000% gain. And again, that would be on the low end. It most certainly helps that this is the first year in crypto's short history that we've had true institutional support and adoption. And when you check out this article from crypto.com, spot ETFs, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, could also contribute to the legitimization and mainstream adoption of cryptocurrencies by bringing them within the framework of traditional financial markets, in other words, known as TradeFi. This could potentially lead to greater acceptance and integration of cryptocurrencies into existing financial systems. And at the point we're at in the crypto space, with trillions of dollars in terms of a market cap, it's no question to me of if, but when. And so crypto has been being adopted at seriously high levels and consistently outperforming the adoption of other things, such as early day internet, early day cell phones, and now Web3. So which narratives have been on fire so far this year, and more specifically, which projects are most likely to see the types of returns we want to see by 2025? Well, if you've been paying attention, meme coins have been making headlines left and right. Memes like Pepe, Bonk, and Brett have been leading this market cycle and creating flurries of speculation across the meme coin market. So when you look at a chart like this, you can see that the yearly performance year to date on memes has actually been the highest. However, it's also important to note that meme coins aren't the best when it comes to risk-adjusted returns. So when we hop on over here to this article, you can see that the risk-adjusted return measures the profit your investment has made relative to the amount of risk the investment has represented throughout a period. If two or more investments delivered the same return, in other words, if another crypto narrative went on and did another 263% alongside memes, right, over a given period of time, then the one with the lowest risk will have the better risk-adjusted return. And so when you really look at memes, right, the risk-adjusted return really isn't that great. Stated bluntly, meme coins pump really hard and then dump even harder. And actually, most people don't make money with them. The only reason we continue to hear about them all the time, right, is because someone's always getting lucky out there and promoting their insane gains. And we're greedy. We want those same gains too, which is why we go and chase the pump. So really what I'm after in this video is cryptos that not only have strong narratives, but also have strong earning potential, the ability to be sticky, adopted by the masses, and ultimately have legitimate use cases. This year, the strongest narratives in crypto have been AI, real-world assets, and liquid staking derivatives. A lot of the money in this one in particular actually might be due to the fact that a lot of them are pegged to Ethereum. So these would be their, tokens for the actual protocol or governance tokens. But a lot of the stuff that creates this large market cap is actually just tied to Ethereum. Projects like Render in the AI space or Mantra DAO in the RWA space, and even Pendle in the liquid staking derivatives space have already earned people thousands of percents in return just this year. But a lot of the best projects inside the market cycle's narratives have already made major moves. And although I expect them to perform through the end of 2025, or at least to the beginning, I think much of the best opportunities for these specific cryptos have already passed, which is why I'm looking into one of the best narratives, gaming. So far this market cycle, gaming has lagged the market. In other words, the other sectors that I talked about were at 30 to 35 billion and even $70 billion in terms of market cap aggregate, whereas gaming is sitting at a $20.7 billion market cap. This is likely probably because the majority of the liquidity has gone into memes and AI and RWA, and all the liquidity has been sucked out of the gaming industry. But gaming hits all of our major criteria. It's sticky, it can be adopted by the masses, it doesn't require people who are already playing games to form new habits or change habits, and can produce real revenues, with the gaming sector projected to grow to $667 billion by 2029. And this is obviously a stat from Statista, which is, well known around the world, but already it is such a massive industry that is projected to grow that I don't see why games on blockchain, which have far better use cases and allow for people like me and you to earn from them, couldn't do better. And last year, some of the best performing crypto games did insane multiples. For example, Sand did a whopping 10,200%. If you would have invested $1,000, you would have made about $103,000. If you would have invested $10,000, you would have made $1 million, and $100,000 would have netted you $10.2 million. Or you can look at Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity, okay, you would have made about $1,000 and turned it into $231,000. $10,000, you would have made $2.3 million, and $100,000 would have made you $23 million with a 23,000% gain. So obviously the gaming sector is a narrative that can do very well, and because it's been lagging the market, but games have such a real use case and real world value to people, and people are willing to spend money, and that model is proven, it's likely some games are going to do very well in blockchain. Now, after having done our own due diligence in the GameFi sector of crypto, we think we found the project that is likely to perform extremely well this bull market cycle, where it's still very early and still at a really small market cap, making it easier to do crazy multiples. This project is none other than Landrocker, which has a $2 million market cap, and their token LRT is currently sitting at 0.00508, or half a penny. For context, the gaming projects that I just shared a bit ago reached billions of dollars in market cap, and if this project only hit $200 million, not even a billion, that would still be a 100% gain from here. So this is a very small but very good project, and I'm going to go on and explain some of the biggest reasons I personally like it. So first we'll hop on over to their website, and as you can see here, I'm at landrocker.io. You just got to make sure that you put the proper address in, because sometimes, right, scammers will go in and make it a .com, if you will, and it'll look the same, and you'll click through, connect the wallet, and all of a sudden your money's drained. You got to be careful. It's landrocker.io, and if you're not confident in what it is, typically you just want to get a CoinMarketCap or a CoinGecko, and you can go to their website link, and they're always going to be linked properly, so you're good to go. Ultimately, what I think makes Landrocker unique to other play-to-earn games is the fact that most of them struggled with high emissions and essentially looked like a big old roller coaster that only went up one time and made a major high and then just continued dropping left and right? And that's because people played blockchain games to earn the token, and then once they sold the token, they left. So the first and most important thing that I think a game needs to be is fun, right? It needs to be captivating to the point where people would play it whether they earned or not, and earning is just the added bonus. And so in this case, the game never gets old, because as you can see on the screen, right, there are endless possibilities for worlds. I mean, in general, there's 79 quintillion worlds. And it's similar to No Man's Sky, which is a very successful video game. With this in mind, the team not only created a really fun game, but they had a major focus on solving the problem of emissions and basically poor token performance by engineering an entire game with an in-game economy. And basically they did this in 3 separate ways. The first one was play to liberate. Essentially what you do is you enter into the game, you could take advantage of intense battles to free planets from alien control, and then once you successfully liberate those planets, that sets them up to be like a mining colony, which allows for you to unlock different types of gameplay options. Then there's a play to earn feature. Once a planet is liberated, people can essentially mine it, or you can mine it using a rover, and then you gather materials that are blueprints essential for crafting new gear and upgrading your equipment. And then finally there's a play to win perspective. On specific planets, players can undertake risky missions to unearth and win cryptocurrency rewards, adding a competitive edge to the gameplay. This style of play creates 3 pillars and a sturdy in-game economy that rewards investors. It creates supply and demand chains through the gameplay, where essentially if you find, let's say, an element or you craft a new asset, you're able to actually use their in-game economy, which rewards you with LRT tokens. So in general, if people are playing the game, right, it's kind of like any other game out there right now, and they enjoy it, they're going to spend real life US dollars to go and buy items. Well, in this economy constantly is working the value into itself. And so, as the economy grows and as more people play and the game is more sustainable through that economy, people continue to want to play it, and the price of the LRT token would likely go up. So here would be a live example of the actual in-game economy and how they've designed this thing. Now, I don't want to really confuse you guys, but this is basically what we just talked about, right? Like your play to earn, play to liberate, so on and so forth. And so this is exactly what you would do in the play to earn feature, or with the play to liberate feature. You get weapons, gear, you liberate, then you get to play to earn, and you can earn through token rewards. You can use your earnings to craft materials, to get better, weapons, rovers, all sorts of different things. And in general, you're going to consistently earn in this in-game economy. Then you can also do this deal where you can play to win. And so if you'd wanted to skip all this and you're like, you know what, I don't really want to play the video game, maybe you don't have the time, maybe you're not a big gamer. For people that actually are, this is just a killer prospect and an opportunity for them to not only play a game they enjoy and do what they're already doing, but actually earn while they're doing it. But if that's not you, then you could just be an investor, and then you can get your planets and you can stake them and you can still earn. And ultimately, it makes me very confident that they've really thought through this process of their economy, which would just make this so radically different than your typical play to earn blockchain game, right? Now, it's one thing if you have a cool looking game, but if the token is attached to it, as we've learned the hard way in the past, ultimately it really comes down to transparency with the team. And so not only has the team been pretty transparent in terms of, their allocations and where the liquidity is and what's happening with the tokens and their vesting schedules, which a lot of companies really aren't as direct or forward about, the team is also doxed, which I actually do like. And so if you come over to right here where it says team, you can actually read the names of the team, and arguably you can go to this website right here, infinite8.ae, and it'll take you to their website. Now, what's really cool about their website, right, is the fact that they actually have deep experience over the period of 20, 25 years of building things in AI, the metaverse, Web3, blockchain gaming, AR, VR, MR. Obviously, blockchain, right, hasn't been around for 20 years, but they've done a lot in deep tech and retail, e-commerce, financial services. So they are a legitimate IT team, right? 22 years in IT, 34 countries, 65 plus clients, 11 plus million users. Here are all the sectors and the things that they've built. And obviously, they share their clients, which is freaking cool. So you can go ahead and do your own homework into that. You can come over here to their about, and actually it'll show the team right here. And then you can click through, if you'd like, to their LinkedIn profiles and read into each one of these people. So it seems to me a legitimate company. And actually, after having met and talked with some of the team, we decided that it was a good idea to partner up with them. We really liked their vision and excitement and integrity around building a blockchain game like this. So shout out to the sponsor for this video, Landrocker. We're obviously extremely bullish, and this isn't something that we'd want to share with you if we ourselves weren't interested in investing in this token as well. Another reason I'm really bullish on this project is because they have a really high rating from CertiK, which is a blockchain auditor. And right here, if you go to their website, you can see that they're securing the Web3 world. CertiK's Web3 leading smart contract auditor provides a comprehensive suite of tools to secure the industry at scale. Now, they have a lot of certifications and qualifications. They have an SOT Type 2 compliance and an ISO 27001 certification. These are basically IT talk for freaking qualified. They're arguably the best blockchain auditor in the world right now. And so if you have a stamp of approval from CertiK, that's a pretty big deal. So when we come over to their scores and rankings and I go to cryptocurrency, for example, you'll see that Bitcoin, obviously being, the biggest and most quote unquote decentralized player in the game with really good development and code, would have a AAA rating at 96.87. That's extremely high. But when you go on over to Landrocker, ranks at a whopping 88.28, which is still a double A rating and ranked number 11 in its category, or in the top 10th percentile, which is just an absolutely monster score for something this young that's sitting at about half of a freaking penny and a $2 million market cap. I mean, it's honestly kind of shocking that most people don't already know about this, which means it's a total sleeper. And that's arguably just because it's, relatively young and people haven't been playing it and talking about it just yet. But once they do, it's like usually the opportunity is gone. So that's why we wanted to share this with you guys before everyone else. But when you really look at all of their scores, from their governance to their marketplace, to their community, to the code, to the operational, they are crushing it in that top 90%. And the only thing that they've struggled on, or don't have, and I wouldn't even say struggle, this is still a great score when you look at other companies. Some of the companies that I've invested in, I didn't realize that they don't really have as good of a CertiK rating as I would have liked. So before I ever invest in any of these things, I double verify, do they have a decent CertiK rating? Because I'm not sitting there going through all of the code, making sure the smart contract works, making sure there's no honeypots, making sure there's no serious issues, or that my money can't just accidentally disappear, right, with the right hacker coming in and messing with their smart contract. And so it really just comes down to the fundamental, which typically means, right, they're at a medium maturity ranking. That's all it is, right? They're very young. And so that's the only score that they really didn't do as well on, which is actually pretty amazing when I really think about it. And when you even look at this governance, right, there's no hidden owner. There's no creator percentage. The contract and ownership has been renounced. There is, no honeypot. There is no buy tax. There is no sell tax. It's not modifiable. I mean, everything about this project just screams bullish. And that's us, really telling you that this thing, I'm honestly shocked that more people don't currently know about it. Now we're going to move on to my favorite thing, which would be the team. But I think what ultimately makes me so freaking bullish about this project is the fact that it's sitting at under a $2 million market cap. So if at $2 million, let's just say this thing hits, I don't know, an extra, 20 million, that is literally a 10x. And at $200 million, that would be a 100x. So I've seen all the projects that we talked about before, right? They've hit multiple billions of dollars. And if the product is good and people are playing it, and this thing starts to get listed on different exchanges, because right now it's literally only listed on Uniswap and MEXC. Any extra listings and volume and eyeballs is likely to take this thing up, especially when you look at that robust team, when you look at the gameplay, when you look at the in-game economy. Across the board, it's almost checking off all of the boxes. And so you begin to wonder, how long could it stay at a low market cap, and how long would the price be sitting at under half of a penny? In typical fashion, right? This thing's already pumped once and twice, within a very short period of time, and now it's just ranging. But that's my point. It's so small that honestly any listing could make this thing just pump hard. And arguably, when you look at a lot of these bigger projects like Mantle, which has a 2.5 billion market cap. And then you look at their token. Typically, a lot of the times, right, they'll get listed at a specific price on an exchange. In this case, it was listed around 50 cents, went up to 59 cents. More often, you'll just see them actually start to dump. And this is because a lot of, investors at those early stages might be selling their token. Maybe people got airdropped the token and it just dumps. But then, as you can see here, before we started rising to new all-time highs, it dumped for a while. In other words, this thing from its real listing price dumped about 38% and took a little while. Then once, it bottomed out, it started, pumping higher. And this thing has just been moving and moving and moving. So when you look at, let's say, another project like Pendle, which has a $756 million market cap and is sitting at $4.88. When you look at something like that and look at the price action over time, as you can see here, they actually never even made a new all-time high upon listing. They kind of hit their listing prices, plateaued, and just started dumping. And this is, again, typically because you had a lot of major investors. Maybe there was a large airdrop. Maybe there was a large emission. This is a longer period of time. And it freaking took a while when you really think about the amount of time that you would have probably had to hold something like this that's just constantly in dump mode. But if you held, you would have been a very happy camper over the long run because, and I'll just let this thing play out for a second. As you can see here, this thing dumped, hung out for a while, and then actually pumped into new all-time highs. And so when I look at the price of something like LRT, on listing, not only did it put in a high right here and then dumped a little bit, it saw a strong support and actually pumped to a new high. And so the token is already looking stronger than really strong performers. And I can only speak to one thing that typically means demand, right? So when I see something that's under 2 pennies, that has a good in-game economy, they've really thought through the process, the team is there, blockchain auditing process is there, all of the stars are aligning, and it's at a very low market cap, I just think to myself, this must be a good opportunity. And sometimes when I feel like it might be too good to be true, I just realize that ultimately it really comes down to the fact that all investments carry a little bit of risk. And so manage your risk accordingly. But I don't like to sleep on opportunities. Ultimately, if I never go and bat, right, I'll never hit the ball. So I have to have a lot of at-bats, and I think this is a really good one. So if you enjoyed the video, thanks so much for watching. Check out Landrocker. Check out their token. Like I said, at any point in time, if there is a listing, I do think this thing is really going to start to move. But thanks so much for watching the video, like I said. And if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and subscribe. And as always, go to bullrunners.com if you want to learn how to do analysis like this and eventually become a crypto millionaire. So we'll see you on the next video.